First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX and WIBX950.com.
Oh, how bad is it?
Well, I mean, it's just not pretty. The next 2 or 3 days before things warm up a little bit for the weekend, but it is what it is, right? It's still April.
Yeah, I
It's
guess
April.
so. It was so promising that we had such a great March and early April.
It's April.
We're going to need those Mayflowers and snowstorms.
Okay, much to get to here. Walter Mondale passed away yesterday. I guess I'd completely forgotten about the former vice president and former presidential candidate. Didn't he run? I think he ran against Reagan, didn't he?
He did.
And was it the first? I think wasn't it the first female vice presidential candidate?
That is correct.
And what was her name? Who had ties to our area here, by the way. Interesting.
I don't know.
Geraldine Ferraro.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I did know that.
God, we got to start the morning off with a good game of Jeopardy here. Today is, of course, the 20th. Coming up, we'll talk to Rachel Sutherland in a few minutes.
It's shot day number 2 for me. What's yours
Today
tomorrow?
is shot day.
Is yours tomorrow?
And mine would be Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Jeff will be off tomorrow and Thursday, and then you'll be off Friday, according to Richard.
I have to say that, well, you never know. My doctor says that he expects I will be hit hard by this shot.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. But then again, I don't know that anybody knows. I know somebody who has had both shots, didn't feel a thing. Others who had moderate, and then some that had a high temperature and were knocked out for 2 or 3 days. Or 2 days, I guess, is what it is. So it's interesting how it ends up hitting different people. Everybody seems to be different, but isn't that the virus?
It is, and I'm obviously not scared or something, but I'm just like anticipating that I'm going to have a reaction. So I don't know.
Let's talk a little. The virus ain't over. Can we do that? Whitesboro Central School has gone to all virtual today. 100% K through 12, and from what I understand, this was an outside sporting event, if you will, outside extracurricular activity. So I don't know the whole story, but it sounds like this. We're talking about it's dance, I think, and again, what I'm going to tell you is something coming from someone within Whitesboro. That I can't guarantee that this is accurate, but I trust the person who gave me this.
Okay.
So it's not coming from the district. But I think their total of positive cases, and we'll find out, won't we, when the new cases come out in the county. But I think their total of positive cases in students is up to 36 from this event. Now, that might not be all at Whitesboro. It could also affect New Hartford and Clinton, but it's a dance competition. And so the story is it goes back even further to spring break week. So someone was in Myrtle Beach, got the virus, not feeling well, but didn't get tested, went to practice, then went to a rehearsal, whatever it's called. I forget what my daughter would call it. And then went to the event. And then all of a sudden, everybody started testing positive. So and you wonder, it's hitting younger. These are younger dancers. So you would assume that you're talking about the potential for the variant here, right?
Yeah, I guess so. My son yesterday was kind of disappointed to share the news that he would be home today, where in school but home today.
And I got to tell you something. I'm not sure. Like, I asked my wife, if they said to you today you have to go virtual, would you be able to do it? And her answer was, I don't have any equipment at home anymore because she's teaching in class. So I think it's interesting they're able to switch to virtual. I don't know. It's crazy stuff, this world. Just when you think it's all over, we get hit with crap. And it is the younger demographic that is getting hit here, right? How about that Elon Musk, the Tesla crash? Did you see that? Both people dead in the car, a fiery crash, and part of the fiery part of this thing that I never really thought about these battery operated vehicles. If you're in an accident and it's really, really bad and there's impact on the battery can explode. And there apparently were several batteries in the vehicle, and it burnt. Both drivers died. I'm sorry, I misspoke because neither one were drivers.
Right. That's
yeah.
Are they saying that
the driver's seat was empty? There was somebody in the passenger seat and somebody in the back.
Oh my gosh.
So, and Tesla says that their self-driving vehicles must have a driver in the driver's seat. But there was a story on the nightly news where this guy was driving home, and I assume he was driving home, but he was driving on the road, and the woman next to him in the passenger seat was sound asleep, and he was sleeping, and the car was driving right down the highway.
Oh
his head was going right down in between his legs, practically hitting the steering wheel.
Is there any chance that this crash was so violent that the guy was thrown or somebody was thrown into the back seat and they actually were up front?
I don't know. I guess I don't know the.
Were they hit by another car?
No, I don't think so. I think it was impact into a tree or embankment or something. And I don't know the answer to that, but you do hear stories of people getting in crashes and like being ejected and falling being ejected right out of their shoes. Right? You've heard those stories.
I see here. This is CNN. The county police precinct spokesperson, I guess, or the head of the said, "We are certain that no one was in the driver's seat at the time of the crash."
No.
Okay.
The Chauvin trial yesterday wrapped up, and that's the police officer there in Minnesota. And the jury is now in deliberation. It was interesting after that whole thing went down. Maxine Waters had made some really ridiculous comments over the weekend, and basically was saying that we have to get in your face. We have to get even more intense, or I don't know the words. She said everything, but we have to get more violent. She didn't specifically say that, but the implication was there.
I think she said confrontational.
Confrontational was the word. I mean,
yeah.
How about being the fact that you're in a position of power and influence? And listen, I said this during the Trump administration when President Trump would say things that were inflammatory. Why would you do that? And I say the same thing here. What is she thinking?
Yeah.
What are you thinking? When you know it's like a timber box out there. What are you thinking?
It's really unfortunate, and I don't know that they. So I'm seeing a headline here that the judge in the trial said that...
The judge yesterday said, and I don't agree with this necessarily, because the judge said that this is something that could be appealed because it would be jury tampering. And here's where I don't agree, and I'd love to... And I'll bring this up with Scott McNamara today. It just so happens my fellow attorney is on the air with me this morning.
For his sake.
Yeah, I'll school him a bit.
Set him straight.
Yeah. I'm an amazing basketball coach, and it's incredible the talent I have. But I here's where I disagree with the judge. And again, this is a judge. Who am I? But it just didn't make sense to me. He's saying because of what she said, the jury could hear that, and it could influence the jury, and that could be grounds for an appeal. Well, if you recall, there were times during the trial, and I watched a lot of this trial. There were times during the trial where the judge would be like, "All right, jury, we're gonna let you guys go back to your chambers. We have to take care of some business." And just like in a golf match, the reporter, and this was all covered on CNN, would be like, "The jury is exiting the room right now, so the judge and the attorneys are going to go over some things that they won't be privy to. They're not going to be allowed to hear these things. This is about the oxygen level in the victim.
That's right,
and,
Bill. Yes, and it looks like the chairman of the jury chose to use the number 2 pencil.
It does.
Note. He did.
And interesting, the number 2 door is he's exiting.
That's right. I thought he would go through 3, but 2 is probably an easier way to the.
So, anyway, as this is all going on, my question would be: you're assuming the judge there was assuming that the jury would not be monitoring television and following the news and being influenced, right? So how is it that you assume the jury is going to be responsible and not be influenced by the media there, but over here you're saying, well, they're not sequestered, so they're going to be. That's the part I think he's contradicting himself. Because if that's the case, you might as well leave the jury right in while you guys are arguing over something and you tell them instead, sorry, you have to strike that from the jury. You cannot consider that information. Well, so yeah. I just find that kind of interesting. But it was a scathing moment for this Maxine Waters.
That's a difficult thing to do. What you were saying about strike that, they said,
it is. How do you strike something from your mind? Yeah, right. Yeah. But do you understand what I'm saying? If the jury has to leave there so they can't hear something that is being broadcast, so I watched the whole thing.
Right.
So it's being broadcast. And it's going to be on every nightly news show, tonight at 6:30. Why is it that you trust the jury there, but you can't trust them elsewhere? So I don't know. I guess anything could make for something to be an appeal. But we'll speak with the district attorney who is on this morning. And this was the sentencing on the
Nathan Albane.
That Albane case, yeah.
Who killed his grandmother and her landlady with a chainsaw.
So we'll talk about that and legalized marijuana and some other issues that are affecting the DA's office a little later on here this morning. What else do I have? I mentioned this Whitesboro thing, very crazy, and watching that whole and talking about the COVID. My daughter is in a situation where she is about to, they're, believe it or not, getting ready to finish up at her college. And all of a sudden, there's a student in the dorm that is feeling sick but doesn't want to get tested. So it's just crazy, right? So
they doesn't want to get tested.
Doesn't want to get tested.
Okay.
For fear that maybe they do have something. And keep in mind, this is hitting the younger demo right now. So she's
if you have it or don't, if you get tested,
aren't you better
or not,
well,
you're going to have it still.
You know why, though? You can have it and not have the quarantine. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That's what this is all about. So, and here's the other problem. So if this girl gets tested, the entire dorm ends up getting shut down on quarantine for 14 days. And on Thursday, she'll be getting her second shot with me. So if something were to happen, we're screwed. She won't be able to get out of there. It's crazy.
I cannot wait till this is all. I can't wait till this
I can't wait till it's over as well. Yeah.
We talk about it like, and I'm guilty of this as anybody else, but we almost talk about it like it is over. It is gone. It's not.
Well, I think the more people that get vaccinated, the better off we are.
Oh, 100%.
But even that, you wonder. What are they going to tell us next on the shot that you have? We need a booster in the fall for this variant or for that variant. Hopefully not, but it's certainly possible. I do believe that we're all in a pretty like Andrew and me. Andrew not only has the shot, but has the antibodies from the virus itself.
Mm-hmm. Got the blood clot one shot.
Yeah, I think it's done. I mean, you had some real loose blood too, didn't you?
Yeah,
and it's really firmed things up,
strengthened it.
Yeah, you've got some thickened blood there. And blood is thicker than water.
That's true.
So today is National Weed Day.
Oh, it is.
And in New York, it's kind of a special day this year.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
I totally forgot about that.
Today is the 0420 day. 420. Where does that all come from?
There's multiple stories on the background of this.
Okay. All right. Did you see the Rainbow fundraiser? They finally capped it after over $6,000 had been raised for Rainbow.
I did hear that.
Yeah, over $6,000. Now, keep in mind, the one thing that I love about this is Rainbow, who, if you've spent any time down at Saranac Thursday, boy, isn't that a blast from the past. Saranac Thursday.
What's Saranac Thursday?
If you spend any time down there with Rainbow, whether he's playing a horn or a guitar or a ukulele or an electric guitar without strings or an accordion, he really doesn't know how to play any of these instruments.
Yes.
Okay.
That's to politely say yes.
And what is awesome is, they apparently he's got and Mark over at Big Apple, you gotta love Mark because he's always there helping students out and helping out whoever needs to be helped when it comes to instruments and music and a cause. He's really good with that, and they've worked out getting him a new accordion. But the accordion he had was probably something that somebody had used and had given to him.
Right.
And I hope that because now they're saving the remaining money, they're saving it so that
he can get lessons.
He can. It'll help him when he's in need, whenever anything comes up.
Well, that's good. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. Instead of putting. He now has a $6,000 golden accordion.
Yeah, or if he breaks a string, he can have it restrung.
You know what I think they ought to get him is one of those accordions that's electronic with a demo version. So you just hit the demo and it's like that. You just move your fingers and you're playing like a whiz.
But that's a really great. It's funny because it goes to show when we were talking about Cowboy a while back how this community responds to them so much.
And when you're talking about the cowboy, you're talking about the cowboy on the bike who rides around picking up cans, not the cowboy that's giving people recommendations at that insurance company TV commercial, are you? Which cowboy are we talking about?
We're talking about the real cowboy.
Okay. All right. So the one that collects the cans.
Yes.
Okay.
He's not the cowboy. He's
not
cowboy.
the one that plays one on TV.
Yes. I don't just play a cowboy on TV, partner. Tip of the hat. I'm here for you, and so is this insurance company standing behind me. You know what I'd like to see is the cowboy who gets the cans do the commercial for the insurance company.
Oh, I bet you that
Wouldn't that be good?
A little more entertaining.
You'd see the insurance guy come out of the building, and cowboy be standing there, and he'd start shouting, "You owe me money!"
Well, yes, I do, and here's your check. Thanks to all we do.
Tip of the hat. Good morning. I feel like we're gonna get in a little bit of trouble today. I don't know why I feel that way.
Well, you're trending that way.
So I wrote a story yesterday on our website. It's WIBX950.com, and it's about the app. Have you seen this yet? You have to read this. Well, I'm going to read it. I'll read it. WIBX app puts you in my ear whether I like it or not. Here's one more reason you should definitely download the free WIBX 950 app to your cell phone. The app puts you directly in our ear every morning during the show, whether we like it or not. Along with listen live and breaking news, the free app allows you to quickly message us. And it is quick, right?
Yes, it is.
And it pops right into our inbox, and we see it in real time as we're. So I'm talking about yesterday. I said this morning's show was a real roller coaster ride. One topic that hit was the fact that Samsung refrigerator that I own has malfunctioned and no longer makes ice. Clearly a design flaw, and we had messages. This is Greg in Yorkville. You might want to check the valve where the ice maker's connected. If it's an old-style piercing valve, it may not have enough back pressure to close the solenoid, which is causing it to freeze up. Or Joe in Whitesboro, he said, no problems with the Frigidaire. 2 ice makers, 1 in freezer and 1 in refrigerator. Samsung, that's a TV. See, so I feel like we have some very entertaining listeners.
We do.
Who are using the app to its fullest. As I said, I'm completely lost by Greg's technical comment, but Joe in Whitesboro, his point came across quite fine. Another topic that lit up the phones was the George Floyd case when Ann in Rome challenged me to my opinion that, let's say, differed a bit from hers. Just a little bit. And everybody came to her rescue. Bill needs to do research before he gives his opinion, before he tells others their opinion is not correct. Signed, Ed in Syracuse. Somebody else. So now we can't refer to a group of humans as they. Where does it end, Bill? Signed, Big Honey. Where's he from, by the way, Big Honey? H-E-C...
Hecla?
Hecla. H-E-C-L-A. Oh, Hecla. I get it. It's a little play on where he's from. Or is there
like
such
Heckler?
a place? I think that's what he's saying. I'm from Hecla, New York. I'm going to heckle you all morning long.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no,
Or maybe there's a place called Hecla.
it might actually be. Is it in
Or
Westmoreland?
Hesla. Dr. Ken Hall from MBHS is on either at 7:45 like yesterday or 8:45 like today, answering COVID questions, and people ask questions there, and I posted a few of those. And if you have a question of something we're not talking about, you can easily send it off from the app. What's going on in the DMV, said John and Remsen. Can we get into that, Andrew, and find out what's happening there?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Because of John, we'll be dealing with this topic today here on Tuesday. And by the way, we also get your messages when you send them. This is very important. If you download the app, we get your messages when we're long gone from the studio. So they still come into our inbox during the day.
They do.
Like Deanna and Oneana. Great show today. Love you guys. And I've wondered about the Oneana thing, but because we're on Fox, Fox is on the cable system in Oneana, and that's where we grab people from there. So Deanna, love the great show today. Love you guys. Signed, Deanna and Oneana. Thanks, Deanna. And then another one. Tell Bill he needs to stop cutting people off. I'm sick of hearing his snowflake opinion. Signed, Jake in New Hartford. Thanks, Jake. Love you, too. So the beauty of this is, it's funny because I was talking with a friend of mine who also works in radio, and he said, I hate reading comments on the air, because I was telling him how amazing the app has been for us in terms of people sending in messages and that sort of thing.
Sure.
He said, the reason I don't like doing that is because no one believes that the people are real. And I said, well, you gotta see what we get a hold of. I mean, these people
They're pretty personal.
They're really personal. And because what will happen is you'll find on music stations especially what people will do is they'll make up names. Like, Tina, just whatever.
Yeah.
But these are real messages that are coming. I promise you. These are Richard is as real as hell.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure hell has some
and about as
reality
fiery.
to it. Yeah. So these are all as real as can be. So
Big Honey says Hecla is a small hamlet just outside of the big city of Westmoreland, New York.
didn't know that. There are a lot of those little hamlets around the region that we would not even recognize.
Isn't Hecla just a portion of Cooper Street?
and here's Sergio and Ilian to confirm that. Good morning, Sergio.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. So I came across Hecla once, and what I did was I went through Westmoreland. I think that's Main Street, but continued west on before you get to 31, and there's a little place called Hecla. And
it's,
I was like, I've heard of this, but I thought, I thought it wasn't a real place. But holy smokes, there is a Hecla.
And it's spelled Hecla, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Hecla. Well, it's a perfect place for Big Honey. As being a heckler. He's Hecla. He's a heckler from the from the
So
distance.
I'm thinking there's got to be a good story about the name of Hecla.
Do you have any idea what it is, or are you asking us to look into that?
I'm imagining, and I'm not sure if it's an Indian word or it could be an Indian word, but because part of Hecla is the backside of the Oneida Nation golf course, I wonder if it has anything to do with the Oneida.
Oh, well, we're all on,
Indians.
when you think of it, we're all on either Oneida or Mohawk Indian, what was their territory.
And there are so many Indian names to different places.
Yeah.
But there's also some, very European names also.
Yeah. All right. Very, very interesting. So we'll look into that. See if we can find anything out for you, Sergio.
Very good.
I would not be surprised if it does have something to do with the Oneida Indian Nation. But we'll look into it. Have a wonderful day, Sergio. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Or using the app, or you can just call in like Sergio does, and you got a lot of good information that way.
It's easy to get a hold of us here.
It is very easy.
Sometimes.
Or you can just do what most people do, yell at your TV or radio. Rachel Sutherland standing by right now from Fox News. Immigration and Border Patrol agencies to stop using the term. We're in a world where terminology is changing. Am I correct in saying this is about changing the term and not using illegal alien anymore?
Well, that's correct. This is coming from the Biden administration to ICE and Customs and Border Protection, saying no more calling them illegal aliens. Instead, it's going to be non-citizen or migrant. No more talk about assimilation. Instead, the word is integration. Now, these are just memos that have gone out telling them to make this change. It's nothing, I believe, that is legal at this point. And in fact, Henry Cuellar, a Democrat of the border state of Texas, is saying he's going to continue using illegal alien because that's what the statutes say. That's what the law says.
I love how we argue over not using terms and using terms, and that is it's so indicative of where we are today in the country, isn't it?
I totally agree. And language is everything. Yeah. And the administration feels like, calling someone an alien is, alienating.
Right.
But at the same time, the law says what it says, and there are some who will balk at this. I don't know if there's going to be any repercussions, say, if ICE or CBP officials continue calling them illegal aliens. We'll have to see, how they react to this.
What I find is as ridiculous, it's very hard to win this argument, because as ridiculous as it is to say you can no longer say illegal alien, it is equally as ridiculous to fight for being able to say illegal alien, right?
Yes. I definitely see your point there.
Yeah.
To fight for it, it doesn't have a very good look.
No.
And that's probably why we won't see a big, tremendous blow-up about all this. But it's a change in tone, and that's what some Republicans are saying is driving the increase at the border, where they're saying don't come, changing the language and being more inclusive may encourage them to come. Where you stand on that as far as immigration, that's up to each individual.
Is there any truth to the unconfirmed reports that the Mars rover picked up aliens discussing the fact that they were offended?
Yeah. We have a gentleman in our audience that every time we talk about illegal aliens, there's a Mars joke in there, and this is going to destroy his entire.
It sounds like a good one.
Yeah, his act is going to go away because of this.
We were offended. Ooh.
It's terrible. All right. Well,
an alien voice.
What is interesting though is this is a part of what some would say is the cancel culture. You can't say this and you're not supposed to say that, and the reality is, and you can look at it that way, but Rachel, you also can look at it from the other side. I mean, we probably need to land somewhere in the middle.
Oh, somewhere in the middle is usually the best path.
Yeah,
but in this case, it's just these two agencies. It's not like you folks on the radio can keep calling them illegal aliens if you want to.
Well, until we get fired for that, and who knows? Who knows? That could happen down the road. All right, Rachel, interesting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Rachel Sutherland from Fox News.
We really prefer illegal Martians.
We do
really
prefer that.
The preferred term.
Well, you think of all the terminology that used to be used that is no longer considered appropriate.
Oh, yeah.
And it is hard to keep track of.
It is, because, I think it changes, it evolves, if you will, but it is, it's changing.
And
whatever Rachel just said will be different in 6 years.
It could very well
6
be.
years.
And I'm not really completely
6 weeks.
I'm not completely sure what's right or what is wrong in all of it. But
well, and so one of the things when I was down in Florida, I was talking with my cousins. They were looking to build a new house, and I was looking at the the blueprints. And I noticed that where it used to say Master Suite, it said Owner's Suite. So they're changing it from Master Suite to Owner Suite.
Yeah,
and if the original offense was that it's the master of the plantation, you're changing it to owner. It's kind of like
or the master of the slave. Or the owner of the slave.
Right. It's this, you know what I mean? It could be, you could argue that it's the same level of offensiveness.
I think you're going to just have to change it to guy who pays the bills. That's what you're going to have to change it to. Or woman, very good point. Person who pays the bills. Couple of comments here this morning. And get your rim shot ready if you could. Mondale, according to Rob, won one state back in 1984. Mondale and the Mondale and Ferraro campaign. Wrong place for the...
too early?
Yeah, a little too early. What else did he say? Oneida County, one of the top 3 in uptick counties in the state. according to a story in the Observer Disgrace, as he calls it. And then also in that Tesla accident, he says there will be no trauma injuries consistent with being behind the wheel. That's how they would be able to tell.
Okay.
And are you ready?
Got more here, yep.
Today is Adolf Hitler's birthday.
Really?
Not something we normally celebrate, but there are some.
Well, that's a lot of people say that's
deviants
kind of
out
why
there.
the weed day was, but I don't think that
I don't
has
think
any
so.
truth.
Wasn't
I think
it
it's
something
just a
about Bob
coincidence.
Marley at 420 would always smoke every day or something? I don't know.
It was. I do believe there is a version of the story where it had to do with meeting somebody at a certain time, but I didn't know it was Bob Marley.
I think every day when I used to work at K-Rock, every day Scorch, remember Scorch used to do afternoon driving on K-Rock. Every day at 420, a horn would go off, and I think it was more like a toking sound. And every day at 420 would be a weed moment.
I think 420 also there's some police code that is related to that maybe.
Is there?
You do have that ready. We were talking about talking about Hamlets and that sort of thing. Mike says, when piglets grow up, do they become Hamlets? Good stuff.
Frank says there's 7 Hamlets in Westmoreland. Westmoreland, excuse
Well,
me.
is that why? Okay, so I never knew why they called that brewery 7 Hamlets, but that's probably why. On 233.
There you go.
So 7 Hamlets make up
Or at least
Westmoreland.
there are 7 Hamlets in
Wayne,
Westmoreland.
Wayne says Hecla and Jekyll, like Heckle and
That's
Jekyll.
right. Kathy in Rome. Hello, Kathy. Good morning.
Good morning. I have to say, I've been through Hecla. I don't know too much about it, but I have up on the wall, I have a 1907 county map,
Okay.
and it lists Hecla Works.
I'm going to look that up. I found in the house we moved into
So it
an
may
old
be-
county map, too. I have to check that when I
Maybe
get
some
home.
little foundry or
Yeah.
something, but I have listed Hecla Works.
I believe it's lyrics from an old Johnny Cash song. I've been to Hecla and back.
And I have to take notice. I noticed a lot of people that maybe haven't. I mean, I went to Westmoreland, and I find it kind of strange having people pronounce it.
I was just going to ask you
Westmoreland.
about. I was going to ask you because in I've always pronounced it Westmoreland.
Yeah, me too.
And you put the emphasis on land, Westmoreland.
Yes, I grew up in Lowell.
Okay,
and
so you would know.
the little village of Westmoreland, and I've always grown up as Westmoreland.
And interestingly, that same issue happened when I used to when I worked in Little Falls years, and when I was just starting out on radio. And it's so it's either Little Falls, which is how my boss had pronounced it, who was not from Little Falls, or Little Falls, which is it? And it sounds like that's subtle, and it is subtle, but it's a big deal for people who have been there, I guess. So.
You haven't played your song where you list the different.
I've been everywhere. I'll do that for you. I'll do that. You know what? I'm going to have to redo it because we didn't include Hecla.
Yes, and
Right.
I have a list of more names that I could even send you.
Oh, great. Yeah. Send that to me, and I'll see what I can do, okay?
All right.
All right, Kathy. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay. And one more on Hecla. Jeff in Whitesboro. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Bill.
What
I
do you
used to
know?
live like 2 miles from there.
Okay, from
When
Hecla?
from Hecla when I was younger.
Yeah.
That is an area where Hecla Iron Works out of Brooklyn, New York, owned it.
Okay.
The West Shore Railroad went through there, and that's where a lot of iron ore was brought.
Do you think it was Do you think it was a person's name, last name?
No, Hecla is from Iceland. It's a volcano
Oh,
in
okay.
Iceland,
All right.
where the company was named for.
So it came from the company.
Yeah, it's a company
Okay.
that was there. Yeah.
Okay. Very interesting, Jeff. We learn something
Okay.
every day. Thank you.
All right, have a good day.
You too. You always hear the Miller's Mills Ice Cream Festival whenever they are able to do that again. And the
is it ice cream?
harvest, the ice
ice
harvest.
harvest. I'm familiar
So
with
they
that.
harvest the ice. Well, when we used to get ice, they would harvest
Yeah,
the
right.
ice and they'd have the ice cream social in the summertime. And that is considered a hamlet. The hamlet of Miller's Mills, which is up near Richfield Springs. All right, I have to break here, for God's sakes.
What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.